When I interviewed you for Total Politics, one thing struck me, one sentence. You said, "Why the bloody hell aren't I Prime Minister?"
Well, it's a bloody good question. Excuse me, it is an extremely good question.
Well, answer it.
Well, I think the conundrum is this, that liberalism, it seems to me, the only political philosophy left, actually. The rest have all vanished. And socialism, you get locked up in the Tower of London if you mention it in front of Gordon Brown. Conservatism in its rampant free market Thatcherite form, well, we know its cost, and Mr. Cameron is trying to scuttle away from it as fast as he can, by the way, calling himself a liberal conservative, whatever the hell that means, in the process. And Tony Blair used to say to me, well, socialism's dead, so actually liberalism is the thing, but we'll have to find a new word for it and call it the third way. So no liberal he, and look what he did to our civil liberties. So if this is the liberal age, which it is, I'm sorry, I know this is offensive to you,
after this week, Paddy, I can cope with it.
I hope I can be much more offensive to you as well. But the truth is that it is the only creed that makes sense of the two conundrums of our time. And one is, how do you create institutions below the level of the nation state that puts the citizen back in contact with politics? And the fact that they're not at present, they feel politics is too distant, too ignorant and too arrogant to listen to their views. So how do you create those institutions? Well, liberals have an answer. We place power closer to the people. But also, how do you construct those organizations and institutions above the level of the nation state to make sense of how you handle global power and global problems? And again, as internationalist liberals have the only answer. So it's a bloody good question. If this is the liberal age, why the hell aren't I Prime Minister? And the answer is, not enough of you bastards voted for me.
And that's it, there's nothing else. Did you ever, at any stage in your political career, think that you would hold high office?
I suppose, I mean, the answer is not often. As a liberal, you don't. And someone said to me, "You're an incurable optimist," and I said, "Yeah, that's what you have to be a liberal." The great phrase of Gladstone, carved on the side of the statue of Gladstone as you go into the Liberal Club, is the principle of Toryism is I can't remember, mistrust of the people driven by fear. The principle of liberalism is trust of the people tempered by prudence. So I don't think I often felt I was going to hold high office, no. But there was a moment in '97 when Blair and I had developed and matured this relationship, when the prospect became an achievable one. And even in the first year of the Blair government, although you may recall from the diaries that it comes out in the book, that even at that stage I decided that if a coalition government was to be put together, I would not serve inside it. It seemed to be well, I think there were two reasons. First of all, if you look at the continental experience of coalitions, the person who manages the coalition parties from outside is also in a very powerful position. And also a position, it seemed to me that managing this relationship was as important as fulfilling the offices of state. And the second was that I was already at that stage very clear that I wouldn't be staying as leader of the Lib Dems for very long, that it was time for me to move on, and that if I was outside the process of filling a position as Secretary of State, then it was easier to withdraw from the process without damaging it.
And rumour has it that you had the opportunity to be a Secretary of State. Was it last year or the year before?
I can't remember, the year before, I think, yes. Yeah, but again, we covered a bit in the book quite closely. I returned, do you want me to tell the story?
Do.
Complete?
Well, briefly.
Sort of.